Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Scouting for Growth. Today, I will be meeting with Aaron Jones. Aaron is an award-winning entrepreneur working in artificial intelligence. Aaron co-founded Yepic AI, a company in the generative AI space, which flagship product, vidvoice.ai, is a state-of-the-art video translation technology that dubs your lips in real time. And this will be made available through Zoom. Yepic AI today revolutionizes how the world communicates with video or through video by making production quality videos without actors, without cameras or studios, and this in minutes, not months. On this episode of Scouting for Growth, Aaron and I will discuss the lessons Aaron learned from building his first business to shaping Yepic. This hot topic called generative AI will be second on our list. Then I want to discuss with Aaron how Yepic has become a leader in the generative AI video space. And then I would like to understand the market, the competition, and what is on the roadmap for the future. We will be talking about the competition as well. We are running with OVH Cloud, and I hope you stay up to the end because that can actually win you quite a lot of credits in cloud computing. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, do not forget to subscribe to it, rate it, and provide a comment here below. If there is a topic you feel needs addressing, just send me a message, also using the channel options listed below. So let's welcome Aaron. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Scouting for Growth. Today, I'm with Aaron Jones from Yepic AI. I'm so pleased to have Aaron with us today to talk about his journey and building one of probably the hottest trend company in the market, because he is also working with generative AI. So welcome, Aaron.
Thank you, Sabine. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for hosting.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. So I'd love to start with understanding who Aaron is, your path to Yepic, and what got you to building that company today.
Sure. I think that, people ask this question of who an entrepreneur is quite often. And I think if most entrepreneurs are honest, they're a bit of everything. I think starting a business in a new and exciting space is it's really exciting. But it also requires you to wear many hats at the beginning. Professionally, before I was an entrepreneur, I spent time as a cameraman, working for K Productions, producing TV shows for Sky, also in the studio, vision, as an assistant vision mixer, and also sort of working on, I can't remember the name of my job title, it was so long ago, but adjusting the lighting, the lighting on the cameras, so that if we were broadcasting live, we wouldn't have any problems with the levels and people with epilepsy and that type of thing. I started my career in TV and film and did many sort of things as an actor as well when I was younger, when I thought that a career in acting was for me. But I very quickly realized that I actually wanted to make a difference in the world. And everything I've done since then has really been around this idea of whatever I spend my time on, I really wanted to make an impact and to change people's lives. So at university, I started an ethical fashion brand that sort of got me into e-commerce. I don't care about fashion. I don't think I ever will, but I do care about people. And there was a great story of people that were producing this product locally that was sustainable, that was recycled. And I started this foundation in Cambodia to fund education. And the idea was that every time you bought a product, you'd be funding the education of a child, to get parents earning and children learning, to break the cycle of poverty. I did that for a number of years, received an honor from the Queen for that work and numerous awards. And like all great ideas, they evolve. And we realized that if we wanted to have an even bigger impact, we needed to make a place for other designers to to sort of grow their brands and to sell more products so we could build more schools and do more. And that's how the business evolved, and it evolved into a company called C Fashion, which was like initially a marketplace for designers. Terrible idea. Never work with fashion designers. That's my advice to everyone on this listening in today. Never, ever work with fashion people if you want to make money. And we quickly pivoted away from working with fashion people because they were a nightmare and they like spending money but not making money, which isn't what I like doing. And we pivoted towards being a technology company to enable e-commerce brands that already had a product and a business to sell more. We did this through connecting all the stores together and sort of like creating this sort of like intelligence web, if you like, and using visual search as a hook to encourage users to show us what they were interested in buying by uploading photos to the app or photos to the store. And this was sort of started as a Shopify plugin and very much became an API business. And we were selling the API to people like Yves Saint Laurent and to very large corporations. And sadly, I got greedy and should have sold the company when we had an acquisition offer and didn't. And we didn't raise as much more money either because the business, the way it was set up, we didn't own the IP. And the most valuable part of the business became this visual search because GDPR came in and the sharing network had to shut down. So it was a real exciting journey, but I just should have taken the acquisition. So 2 lessons so far. Number 1, don't work with designers. Number 2, take acquisition offers. Number 3 is to do something meaningful. And that sort of journey is what led me to meet with the Founders Factory team more than 3 years ago now, and started consulting on a e-commerce sort of enablement project there, with the idea of using what we now call generative AI to enhance and generate imagery. Founders actually wanted to enhance the imagery. I was like, we can generate the imagery. And it blew my mind finding out about these research papers where like researchers were generating images from nothing. And just the whole thing just caught my attention. I became obsessed. And I remember before I took the job officially at Founders Factory, I spoke to 80 different people from e-commerce, Founders Factory, other founders, VCs, to find out if they thought that generated images for e-commerce could be a thing, and if they thought that Founders Factory was a good place to work and a good partner to start a business with. And then I joined Founders Factory, and Yepic began, and we actually created probably the first what we now call stable diffusion ever. Before research papers were sort of making the concept popular, before sort of Stability and Runway ML did their project that became the stable diffusion we know today. But our stable diffusion wasn't very stable, and you needed quite a big data set to generate the images, which meant that for an e-commerce brand, it just wasn't that feasible. We had like Farfetch on our pilot, we had Marks and Spencer's on our pilot, but the problem is they don't spend that much money on images. And I think this is a problem that a lot of like generative AI companies are going to face once the hype burns away. It's very exciting that anyone can generate an image, but if your plan is to go sell it to businesses as a click-through enhancement or a click-through increaser or something to drive more sales, you need to be able to prove that it was your image that drove the sale. And most traffic for a lot of these brands doesn't come from their newsletter. Most traffic comes from online acquisition, retargeting, and getting the data from inside these ad networks is very difficult. So attribution, I think, was the reason we pivoted into video, and also a lot of brands were telling us, like, we spend like a few million a year on images, but and these are big brands like Marks and Spencer's. I think Marks and Spencer's budget for imagery was like a couple of million for all their markets all around the world. So it's not,
it's not massive, right? When
it's not huge. The global stock image market is only 2 billion. So and a large part of that sits with Getty. And those sorts of images, for stock images, they're like, newspaper images, they're events happening around the world. It's a different genre. Generative isn't going to generate real life events.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And that's what brought me to start Yepic and to become the AI video generation play, API first play that we are today. Such a long introduction here, but why not?
It's actually a very relevant introduction because you have touched upon quite a few key terms, Aaron. First, generative AI. I've been playing with it. I've been playing with DALL-E 2. I've been playing with Stability. And I'm fascinated to see you can upload a picture, you can change a picture, you can actually ask it to actually paint a koala looking like Da Vinci or Michelangelo painting, and actually put your own expression to it. And then the writing, so you have text, you have video, you have pictures. I've not yet seen the video right beside Yepic, but I've heard there are also video things. The thing which is fascinating to me is how fast the market has grown since November, and I think that is just triggered through ChatGPT. So everybody is now spending a little bit more time learning about generative AI beyond reading the paper, and I've seen quite a few of them. So before we go into Yepic, I would love for you to tell us about generative AI, the market, how you see the market evolving, and the challenges it's going to face. Because I read an article last week around just ethics, for instance. Who owns memory data?
I think, Sabine, like the space has been growing rapidly for 2 years now, maybe even 3 if you start at the beginning of the curve, and the reason why the public know about it is because there are so many developers building things with it. If there was just one company that launched a cool thing, that doesn't really merit that much attention, even if it's OpenAI. Sam Altman doesn't have control over all media outlets all around the world. People report on what's interesting, and I think the interesting thing here is that their API first approach has enabled loads of people everywhere to start building on top of their service, and then enter the free versions of ChatGPT, the alternatives. There are many of them, and it's easy to see how the developer community gets excited, starts building things, and then when ChatGPT came, it was seen as like the first super intelligent model that was available to the public, and I think that is the key. It was available to the public. The same with Stability AI, the AI for everyone, everywhere. AI by the people, for the people. They took something that was previously living in the developer community, which was growing really fast. Stability AI didn't even come up with Stable Diffusion. It was an open source community that was part of Runway ML, with a research paper funded by Runway ML. And then off the back of that research paper, Stability came in and said, we will fund the compute to make this small model bigger and open source it for everybody. So that in the background, there's been loads happening for such a long time. And I think the public has all of a sudden become aware of it. And they've realized that, generative AI isn't just deepfakes. It isn't just revenge porn. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, you can actually create stuff, and you can generate images in Canva now. You can edit people out of your photos using AI. So the creative possibilities in the minds of the public has massively opened up. And I think this is part of like the hype cycles we always see. Because at the end of the day, companies like mine, we want to sell to enterprises. We want to grab the attention of big enterprises.
Yeah.
And that is achieved through making waves of awareness in the general public.
So let's go into Yepic.
Sure.
Tell us what Yepic does, how the avatar works. And I think it's very important for us also to understand the markets you're already serving with this amazing platform.
I think back to the previous question, which leads into this around the market, sort of there's been numerous projections from Gartner, and sort of Sequoia said that generative AI will enable trillions of dollars of work improvements, so work efficiency and cost saving. And I think that the market really is just so big, and everyone's realizing how all these things fit together. And our vision at Yepic is to be the preferred platform, the preferred API even for people to build software with when it comes to generative AI. Right now, we have a number of video models that are sort of available via the API, and we're about to release a thing called vidvoice, which is the world's first real-time dubbing. Initially, it'll be available on Zoom, and then it'll be available via API for anyone to integrate into any platform, which is really, really exciting. It'll enable people to have conversations in multiple languages with the lips moving in the new language with a new voice.
So like Star Trek 101, right?
Exactly. The universal translator, 100%. And it's going to help a lot of people to communicate. And the other thing we do, as I said, is the generative video. So you put in a text script, and then we generate a talking face. We're also working on a text to video. So you put in a text prompt and say, make me an elephant climbing up Mount Everest, and we generate the video of that. That's not quite ready yet, but that will be ready soon. Really for us, we are the building blocks, if you like, for developers to build incredible applications on. And I think that's the core difference between Yepic's business and other great companies like Synthesia or Our One that just have a platform. Our business is about enabling other businesses to develop their own capability in-house, whereas the platforms are about making a really good tool that services a verticalized need. But we're trying to provide the building blocks to build your own tower rather than going to someone's castle and getting their magic AI from them for a fee. We think that AI is so powerful that it should be in the hands of everybody.
Yeah, that's superb. And, I know the platform is very approachable. So even I played with it, and, small businesses, I know you're after the enterprise businesses, but small businesses can play with it, can actually do their own training, can actually empower their own teams. Executives can actually do their own videos and communicate with their teams globally. So I've seen so many different use cases, which I think are important to highlight. You're after the big businesses, but even small businesses can learn to play.
No, absolutely. We have like more than 10,000 small businesses using our platform, using our SaaS. So it really is super accessible. I say small business, 10,000 users. I know a lot of those are individuals that are curious, that are having a play, and you can sign up for free at yepic.ai /studio. And there's a free trial there for you to test. And we also have a starter plan that gives you just four videos a month for free. So there's plenty of ways to get started with this new cool feature that lets you upload a photo of yourself or a work colleague and turn them into an avatar instantly. With most companies, you'd pay $1,000 for this. With Yepic, this is free and included with the Plus and Premium plans. And it's also available to test right now on the trials also. It's a really exciting platform for you to make videos, and there's all the features you'd expect, like various scenes and slides. We call them slides. It's like a presentation almost. There's more than 500 voices to choose from 6 vendors, such as we've got everyone. Google, IBM, DeepZen, a really great company in London, Resemble. There's a whole bunch of really cool companies there to choose voices from. Transitions, background music, custom videos, foreground videos, background images, and all the other things you'd possibly need to assemble a really exciting video. We have customers across many verticals, such as e-learning, lots of sales enablement and onboarding right now. A lot of onboarding type plays. There's a really cool company using our API that's building out a tutorial tool. They have like 20 million learners per month, and more than 170,000 course creators. So that's a really exciting partnership. And so our platform is available for anyone to use right now. And I recommend signing up right now because our prices go up at the end of March. So now is a good time to purchase.
And buy the full year license as well before.
Absolutely. Our prices are going to jump like 35%. So I definitely recommend buying and locking in now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let's go into some of the use cases. So you talked about e-learning, which for me fascinates me because I've been planning to create some e-learnings because, you know, I get approached by a lot of startups who want me to help them with various things. And, you know, time is scarce. So I thought, you know, maybe I'll use Yepic to help me with developing some of that e-learning and make it a little bit more different as well. But tell us, you work with, whilst you're not a fashion person, I know you actually still are very much the creative side with studios you are working with. So tell us about the industries who are actually already using Yepic.
Yeah, so it's really broad. I mentioned like this companies using this to build out. So there's the API and then there's the SaaS. I'm focusing more on the API right now, and the use cases that our customers are building on top of Yepic. Yeah. But there's companies building out like tutorial software. They're called IRAD. There's a big film studio out in Australia that's building a solution for storyboarding, so they can work with clients and storyboard things and sort of see how characters might move across a scene before they go out and film. Because so often, especially in corporate video, like the client will say, can you just go and film it for me, and I'll tell you if I like it. Which is obviously, you know, not very feasible. So being able to generate a rough cut of where things might move and the characters that might be in the film or in the video is really powerful. And that's a use case that we wouldn't have developed ourselves, because although the film industry in the UK is quite big, it's not, you know, like, it's not really something that we're having our arm bitten off for right now. But our clients are, you know, they are the leaders in their field, and they are the people that are in the best position to build out these amazing solutions to service each vertical. Within our SaaS itself, there's lots of e-learning course creators. There's so we have people creating onboarding for financial services companies. So there's one company I know that's doing like lead generation, and they have an avatar talking you through the lead generation process and collecting data via audio. So you can tell it the data, and it types it all up for you, and sort of then gives you a summary video at the end and asks you if everything is right, which is really powerful for someone that maybe doesn't feel comfortable typing, someone that's elderly. Even elderly people need to buy insurance. And also for there's an insurance company actually using the platform for, like, they sell micro insurance in developing countries, very small payouts, very small premiums, to like small by UK terms, but, you know, significant by say Ghana, for like livelihood insurance. And a UK company insurance can sell insurance premiums anywhere in the world. But the UK regulation says that you have to make sure that the person understands what they're buying. And for someone that might not be very comfortable reading and writing, having a video where the premium and the terms of the insurance are explained makes a big difference in communicating a message.
100%. You know, still today, so market in Africa have less than 1 or 2%, you know, conversion rate, right? You know, the market is very, very small. And to be honest, it's partly because of education and really understanding the power of insurance. And so, and, you know, sometimes insurance get a bad press because, you know, it's not in the terms. But being able to eloquently and easily explain the terms means people really know what they are buying and what is not in the policy. So you can also highlight the exclusions. And if the exclusion are not appropriate, then they can actually go back and actually say, you know what, I need a little bit of that as well. So you're absolutely right. Amazing way to communicate. And I also can see the power of creativity around the scenario, around the studios you mentioned, right? Now we can actually leverage different part of the team to start ideating, planning before producing, and maybe having a much more powerful end result. You know, you've seen those movies which probably the script was great, but actually the end result was not always what one expected.
Absolutely. And Sabine, this is just the beginning. Like what's happening right now in the landscape in general is so significant. especially the recent breakthroughs in LLMs, large language models. That's the sort of type of model, the type of AI that sits behind ChatGPT. And this is so significant because, like, how I see this playing out is I see there being almost like a creative general intelligence that consists of multiple models, or one multimodal model that can generate, audio, text, images, a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But more likely at the current stage we're at, it's going to be multiple models and then an orchestration layer. And I think LLMs are really powerful to be the orchestration layer, because they can take multiple inputs, process them, and understand the context of what you're asking, and then instruct other networks. There's been numerous work around networks to generate prompts to generate better images. Networks to generate better prompts for 3D type objects that describe the 3D object better than a person would in text. And I think that this, having an understanding of language in multiple languages, really is the key breakthrough that the generative industry has been waiting for. And having that available and sort of reliable is really the key. So imagine now, I'm talking to my computer, and I've given my computer, my AI, a name, Sally. I'm like, hey Sally, can you have character 1 walking across the screen, please, with a Wild West background, a giant mothball going across the screen? 20 seconds later, video is generated. Oh, Sally, can you like move character 1's hat slightly, and can you have a gun appearing on the left and character 2 walking into scene and pointing the gun towards character 1, like sort of making a Wild West, and I think this is definitely where the industry is going. And also, like, the bit that's missing really at a large scale is real-time video generation. And I'm pitching, Yepic now, because this is really the area where Yepic shines. And to make these creative possibilities possible, we're going to have generalist generators that are real time. And this is the area that Yepic focuses on. And this is the area where we'll be launching a sort of a service in the very near future. So yeah, very, very exciting time.
Fascinating commentary. And I would say to you that the challenge you highlighted is the one I actually experience the most, because whilst, I work with large insurance companies and I help with working with startups like yours, I help them really go into commercialization, and, they are the one funding that program.
Sure.
On my creative side, as you know, I write and I am on social media and all those things. And so I have a spreadsheet with all those tools I'm trying and playing with to see what does it mean for a creator who actually is interested in, shining and providing a voice to an organization like yours, leveraging social. And what happened is my orchestration layer is spreadsheet, right? Yeah. So literally this conversation I was having with one of my friends who is a venture builder, I said, can we actually get all those tools into an orchestrator so that, as I have maybe a virtual assistant team, they know what to do when, as we actually creating those campaigns and those categories for startups.
Absolutely. And I think like Alexa is like a taster of, what you can imagine, but Alexa requires everything to be set up individually. Yeah. Like, you can program your lights with Alexa, you can program your vacuum cleaner, but you have to specify very specifically this command equals this. Mm-hmm. Whereas maybe with a ChatGPT based system, you wouldn't have to. Maybe you could just tell it what you wanted, and then it would be like, oh, are these instructions okay? And it shows you a visualization of this, if in these scenarios these things will happen, in these scenarios these things will happen, and then it's like a collaborative process where you sign off the actions for automating processes from a spreadsheet, or processes in your house even. Yeah. Like if you have Airbnb guests come, You have a camera, and you're like, only let the Airbnb guest in if their face matches their passport. That's for self check-in. There's all sorts of things, and I don't think that we'll be swapping typing for talking immediately. I think it's a slow process, and there'll be some, especially creative processes, that are difficult to describe in a written form, and that if you were to talk to someone and even explain with visual cues, you'd be able to explain it better. And I think this is where we're moving, this multimodal approach where we can communicate with AI using body language, words, and writing.
So you have already highlighted so many processes and function which actually can benefit from Yepic and generative AI technology, such as sales and marketing, but also servicing client, e-learning. And I can see that the platforms will allow us to become much more creative people, because creativity, therefore, is becoming limitless. I would love to go now into the future and looking at Aaron, maybe 5 to 10 years from now. Where do you see yourself and your team as, a founder of a growth business in a very hot area, and then remembering the learnings you shared with us at the beginning? What the 5 to 10 years looks like for you and Yepic?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to the sort of the impact. I could be doing many things right now, but I'm doing this because I really believe that this has a huge impact on society, especially the vidvoice stuff I talked to you about earlier with the real-time dubbing. People are like, oh, Aaron, why don't you just use it to dub movies? I'm like, well, I don't really want to dub movies. Educational material on YouTube, yes, but movies, don't really care about having Pierce Brosnan's lips in perfect sync in Chinese. It's not really a problem I care about. And it's not a problem that, is worth that much money, in my opinion. I think opening up a market doesn't exist, and sort of helping people that can't afford an interpreter to access real-time interpretation on demand makes the market bigger, makes the world better. And I think that really is the theme and the anthem of what we do at Yepic. We want to make the world better and bigger and better connected. And we see video as a huge part of connecting people and communicating messages and ideas that are powerful to each other. So if I'm still running Yepic, if we haven't, IPO'd and sold, and I haven't been replaced as CEO, or, if I'm not sort of like running a fund by then, I certainly love to sort of know that what we're doing is having a huge impact and touching hundreds of millions of lives.
And I love the scenarios, right? Purposeful videos and repurposing purposeful videos to solve some of the biggest challenge, probably underserved markets, and enabling people to become maybe self-sufficient, create personal wealth. I think we are now entering a market where everybody could be a creator and create their own path to success, right?
Absolutely.
So where can we find you, Aaron, if we want to? I know where I can find you, but audience, where can they find you if they want access to the software, if they want to talk to you, if they want to know how to use the API to create a better world?
Sure. Well, the best way to find me is to get me on LinkedIn and sort of message me there if you want to have a chat. I have an incredible team as well that support me and support the vision that we're building here. For API, that's led by a guy called Fergie Miller. Actually left the dark VC side to join us full time as our head of commercial. So he's probably the best person to speak to regarding the API. For the studio, we have a team that supports the studio as well. But sign up for a trial online. There's you go to yepic.ai, and there's a section of the website dedicated to the studio, to the API, and also to vidvoice. And each page has its own sign up process. vidvoice is going live sort of end of April, early May. So now's a good time to sign up for the beta and by signing up the newsletter. And the studio is just ready to go. And the API at the moment, we have like a wait list, but as of March, we're going to start sort of onboarding people via an automated process. So now's a great time to sign up for that as well. And Sabine,
tell me.
We have a great competition coming up with OVH Cloud that you're helping promote.
Yes, I know.
Today. So yeah, we have an incredible competition coming up. Yepic is partnering with OVH Cloud and with Ignite, Intel Ignite, and Sabine and Alchemy are supporting the events and the process. And we're inviting startups to do one of three things: to submit an idea to pitch at the event, to submit an idea for an exhibition space at the event, or to enter one of our competitions. If you don't have a product in generative AI yet, you can sign up for Yepic's API and build a product between now and May the 16th. And a panel of judges made up of VCs and industry experts will be judging the ideas, and you'll get a free spot to pitch, and you'll also get an exhibition space at the event, as well as 20,000K in credits from Yepic and 10K in credits from OVH for the winner to scale your idea to the next stage. And if you already have a business, by entering the competition, you can get between 10 and 100K of credits from OVH Cloud. So it's a real exciting opportunity. There's, they're reluctant to put a number on it, but over the next 12 months, we plan to give away as much as 5 million in credits with OVH. So
yeah, and it's a massive number. People don't realize, because it allows new businesses which are emerging to come to market and have the cloud infrastructure and a secure cloud infrastructure to build their business. So therefore, if it's secured and if it's on a approved cloud platform, and there are many out there, right? And, I work with many of them. But what is really special about this is, imagine if you could build your next business and get funding from an investor, because it's secure, it's private, it's follow all the regulation which are in Europe. And then with partners like Yepic to actually enter the generative AI world. What a beautiful story to start, actually.
Absolutely. And I think one more thing to add as well, as a user of their service, I've, as a startup, I've used all the services, and I'm not a developer. I'm on the financial side. So for me, cost per unit production is everything. Cost per minute of video production is key. And that's one of the metrics that we continually optimize for, because we want to make this available to as many people as possible for as low cost as possible. And I can honestly say that when it comes to GPUs, out of all the major vendors, Google, AWS, and Azure, and OVH, OVH's V100 cards do come in at the least cost, the cheapest. So if you are a company in gaming or in machine learning, they're a great company. Right now, though, they don't have the A100 cards, but they said they're fixing that. They've got them somewhere. They're just not live yet. I think when they get the A100 cards, for all the nerds out there that know what that is, that'll be really, really exciting too. So yeah, I think they're great. The 100K goes a lot further than, say, it would with AWS. And also they don't charge for data transfer, which is also really good for training. If you're training large data sets and you need to transfer hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes of data, there's no fee for that. If you're in video streaming like we are, there's no fee for streaming the videos. So it's a real good for gaming, for machine learning, and for video, it's a really good platform to build with.
Heavy data, propositions, which needs to do it in a cost-efficient manner, should definitely look at OVH Cloud as an option.
I feel like have they sponsored this? If they haven't, they should. You should get in touch with them.
You know what? I was just talking with you, and they didn't sponsor this. So on this note, Aaron, it was lovely speaking with you. I'm really honored to have met you through actually OVH Cloud. I have to thank them for introducing us and making me discover what an avatar can do in the world of generative AI, and how my creativity can be transferred as well by enabling others to understand some of the work we are doing as well at Alchemy Crew. So thank you, Aaron, to join me today.
Thank you very much.
If you like this podcast, subscribe now, share with your friends, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a 5-star review. Also, if you want to cover any specific subject with me, contact me on Instagram under Sabine VdL Officials or LinkedIn under Sabine VdL. Thank you.